Hey Trisha, how you doing? Thanks for getting your work in. Okay, I'm looking at your portfolio, and your work is good. I've never had an issue with your work. I've always thought your issue was good, and now I'm starting to see that you're starting to pay attention to presentation. So we're really getting some outstanding results here. I'm so glad that we're finally getting some things to really look at in a solid portfolio manner. I think this presentation has given us a closer look at you, Trisha, as a designer than anything we've seen to date. So you've been doing your work, and that's awesome. I've got a couple of questions or comments. My main concern is the lack of consistency and cohesive visual branding. And let me show you what I mean. You're branding yourself right now, and portfolio is about branding. So when you think about it, your branding is this right here in your portfolio. So that sets up one sort of branding, and you follow that through your pages, and that's awesome. And you've done that by using the same color, the same typeface, and the same basic compositional layout, typographic composition. So when we get to this, we look at that. Okay, so it's established that you are starting to establish your branding through your portfolio. However, when we jump up to here to your resume and your letterhead, the branding is different. There is no designed letterhead or resume per se. Okay, so and then we go the other direction and we come down here a little bit, and in your personal identity page, here's yet another, actually two more. So you've got this branding here, then you've got this, okay, then you've got this, then you've got the scripted on the kind of maroon background, okay, then you've got the gray on the white background, and further, you've got the purple with the yellow and the scripted typeface. So right now you're showing, I'm counting 5 different faces of branding. Every one of those should be consistent and presented consistently. In other words, if you have a logo that you use, you would present it on your letterhead, and then on your cover, on your resume, your logo and your information, your contact information would go in the same spot on every page. The logo would be used to introduce your portfolio. It would be used on your business cards, this correspondence, your envelope, and of course your website. That's my main concern with your portfolio right now. Other than that, everything is included with the exception of publication design. You haven't shown publication design in your work. Let's jump through the pages. Okay, your cover letter and your resume are both formatted contrary to several of the recommendations and some of the direction that was given in not only in our class reading but also in the textbook as well. So I would recommend following that direction. Okay, for example, this needs to be formatted as on a letterhead, a designer's letterhead, and it needs to be formatted as a business letter, complete with salutations, dates, which you have, and then read about what it says about setting up a cover letter. That's really important stuff. Same thing with the resume. For example, it should be reverse chronological. Right now you have your first, I see, your first and then your second and then your current in the middle. So that's not following an order. It should be chronological or reverse chronological. In this situation, our book and the class notes recommend reverse chronological, meaning the most recent first. Okay, the pages I think look pretty good. Good job there. I got you 3 pages deep. Good job. I've been saying this, and I really, really think you have got to get this formatted so it looks like an 8.5 by 11. Otherwise, it's going to look like you don't know what you're doing. That they're going to say, okay, there's a letterhead. I'm sorry, business envelope, number 10 envelope. There's a label, business card, which that does not look like it would be 3.5 by 2. Dimension-wise, doesn't look like the correct size for a business card. 3.5 inches by 2 inches, and this is definitely not the right dimensions for 8.5 by 11. Okay, so try to get those in dimension, and also try to mock your work up a little bit. And I think that is the one thing that I think, as far as your work goes, you're showing your work and you're doing a proficient job setting up your portfolio. This is your last page. I would definitely recommend a thank you page and a credits page. Anyways, you're doing a great job setting up your portfolio, but we're not really getting a good glimpse at Trisha, the designer. We're not really getting to know you very much at all. You're just showing the work. Let me show you an example. I've showed this before. I keep showing Samantha's work here because this is one of the best student portfolios I've ever seen. And she was a student just a few sessions ago and graciously has given me permission to show this work. But you've got the page size that's consistent. And then you jump in here and note the grid. And note everything is kind of mocked up. There's the letterhead. It's completely mocked up. And so is the envelope. And I know... Whoops, sorry about that. And I know that yours is presented, but it's presented in a digital flat format. So it's not mocked up, so it's not showing this really super interesting way of looking at your work. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's so easy to do. Okay, let's take a look at the web and digital media, for example. All right, you've got yours flat on the screen. On the page, okay, which shows flat on the screen, two-dimensional. All right, that's not going to get the viewer very excited. Take a look at some of these. Mocked up right on the computer. I think there's a couple more back here. I guess not. But mocking things up right on the computer. It's a really a great way to go, and it's a very interesting way to see the work in live, up close, live, and in person, okay, more so than you can see it on a flat file. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I love this piece. This piece is great. Love it. Okay, and then the other thing is that, like, for your collateral design, you're putting 5 different things on the same page, as opposed to timing it out, letting your viewer breathe a little bit. Okay, there's the same piece. There's just 3 different views. There's a close-up. Look how breathable the page is. Okay, and then we jump over to your work where it's showing. Okay, look at nice different shots. Very, very breathable pages. Then we come over here and we see the difference of trying to jam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces on one page. Okay, the viewer does not have a chance to even take any of this in, because there's too much on one page. You know what I'm saying? There's a principle in design called Hicks law, and it basically says that if you want somebody to see something on a page, keep in mind that everything else you add to that page takes away from the original object. So if you have a focal point, you put your focal point on the page, everything you add to that page starts taking away from the focal point. So everything you're adding is actually subtracting. And I think that's the general theory that we have in Portfolio, where we say, okay, each page is dedicated to one piece of work, thereby not allowing the viewer to falter from that work, to look away, to stop concentrating on this work. But at the same time, giving 3 different distinct various views of the work as a point of interest. Really interesting stuff there when you think about it. So I guess what I'm saying is really try to limit the number of things you put on each page. Okay, if you were to do this test, okay, you take this page right here, you say electives, you say digital illustration, you take that guy right there and you make him that big. Okay, then the next page, you take that guy right there, put him 1 on a page, all right, and then this on the 3rd page, and you say to 300 people you show those pages to, and you ask them, describe what was on the pages you just looked at. Very good chance they're going to get all 3. However, when you put all 3 on the same page, you just ask people to describe, and they're going to go, I don't know. And I guarantee it. Tests show over and over and over again that that's the case. And again, that's the driving force behind Portfolio, is showing basically 1 piece per page. Now, how do you fit a piece like this on a page like this? Well, take a look at the grid. Look how it's gridded out. You would say the same thing about that. How am I going to take up all this space with something that shape? And this is how you do it. Conversely, we see that over and over. How are we going to take up space? There's a different view. There's a close-up of the typography. Same thing here. So there's really creative ways to really set a defined working area of the portfolio and be able to fill that with your work. See what I'm saying? Hope that makes sense. All right, so your work is good. I'm like I said, my main concern is the branding and the number of elements you have on each page, as well as the missing item, and that is your publication design. Okay, awesome job. Any questions, comments, concerns, or other, Tricia, feel free to contact me. Thanks very much.